You're listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
All right, everyone, welcome to the MMA Fight Picks podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum, and it looks like, again, I'm talking about a new UFC card. I'm not picking fights for a card, but last week I seemed to be talking about UFC 249. Well, that's no more. It was canceled. I debated whether or not this was we were going to Fight Island or Fantasy Island. I'm not really sure which. Either way, I would just want them to put on a fight. But it looks like May 9th, somewhere in Florida. It's supposed to be a secret, but somewhere in Florida, we are going to have a fight card, and I'm just going to go over that real briefly. For those of you on the Periscope, if you want to leave me a comment and say hello, be happy to shout you out on the MMA Fight Picks podcast. Let's talk about these fights, though, for a moment, shall we? Excuse me. I was a little parched. All right. The main event, as of now, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. But I'm going to go bottom up here, okay, in what should be a violent welterweight battle. Vicente Luque versus Nico Price. Jacare Souza at middleweight versus Uriah Hall. This one I'm a little worried about. This one was supposed to also take place on the 18th. Now these guys are coming back on May 9th. I don't know how close they were to making weight. I do know Jacare, although he has never missed weight, doesn't like cutting down to 185, and Uriah has missed weight in the past. So we'll talk about that as the fight gets closer. Ooh, the Karate Hottie against the Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson at, I would believe, this would be flyweight. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I think we have, from his steroid suspension at heavyweight, Fabricio Werdum versus Alexei Olenek. This should be interesting. These guys have been calling for each other, both very good jiu-jitsu practitioners, so we shall see. Oh, good. Greg Hardy's back. Greg Hardy versus Yorgan de Castro. Now, the danger of this was before. What was the co-main that was scratched? Oh, Rosemary Namajunas and Jessica Andrade. This fight was in real danger of being the co-main event. But now we're way down at the bottom of the card here. So Greg Hardy, Yorgan de Castro. Go Yorgan de Castro, right? Next up, Donald Cerrone versus Anthony Pettis. I like this as a little bit of a longer break for Donald than if he would have fought on the 28th. Not much of a break, but it is, on the 18th, but not much of a break. But, excuse me, both these guys not cutting weight for this. Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone fighting at 170 pounds. Oh, this should be good. Calvin Kattar, Jeremy Stevens at featherweight. I likey. I really like this one at heavyweight. I hope this is on the main card. Francis Ngannou versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Who's the more violent of the two? We shall find out. And then this fight, unfortunately, canceled. Amanda Nunes, Felicia Spencer. Apparently poor Amanda was not able to adequately prepare for this. Jose Aldo, kind of the same thing. I don't even know if he could have even gotten out of Brazil. So this fight is off for now. I hope to see this one. It's been a minute since Amanda has fought at 145 pounds, and this would have been her first title defense. Okay, this one worries me a little bit too. Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz for the Bantamweight Championship of the world. Like I said before, Jose Aldo could not make the walk. Dominic is filling in. I see I have some looky-loos here on the Periscope. Feel free to say hi to me here or on Twitter, and I will certainly get your comment in. And I need to make sure I'm on Twitter, actually. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. Dominic Cruz has missed a lot of fights. He hasn't fought in a few years now. This is a lot to ask for, and we're going to some secret location in Florida. Apparently, it's Florida, or maybe it's a swerve. I don't know. Everything weird happens in Florida, right? I don't know. I hope he's preparing adequately. I hope he shows up. I hope he takes the risk. Cejudo, I mean, he's seems to be always ready these last few fights. So we shall see. It's just a weird one. And no reason whatsoever can I give that I think maybe this fight's not going to happen. I hope it happens. And maybe it's one of those deals where it'll get postponed, but I just think it's a strange one. And then finally, we got the main event of the evening. Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight title. We know that Tony can make weight because he made weight for a card that did not exist, which is weird. I don't know. Like, people have been flip-flopping back and forth. I'm not a fighter. I don't have to cut weight. I maybe had to cut 3 pounds when I was a kid wrestling or something, but never at a high level, obviously. And they say this might be a tall ask for Tony to do back-to-back weight cuts, even if it was for fun. It takes a toll out of you. So I don't know. This is kind of weird. And he has been wobbly before. Think of Lando Venata, who stood and traded with him, and Gaethje's going to. So, one of Landon's, or funky Lando Venata, and there's just between one of his punches and Gaethje's punches. I think Gaethje will plan him. So this could be the factor. I'm not making a pick yet. This could be the factor to decide how this fight goes. I don't know. We'll see, but will be an interesting one at least. And none of these looky-loos are going to say hi here. I think I may wrap this up. This is a real short one here. And until next time, I will be talking more about this in some current events, if you will. I didn't really have a lot to go over this week because there's not been a lot of news. So until next time, MMA Fight Picks. Shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.